Good morning on this beautiful Saturday. This is Courageous Journeys that you've tuned into, and I am thrilled today to welcome you to our program. We have our guest, Jamil Couzens, who is an author. He's a recovered drug addict, a life of 15 years plus of criminal activity. He's a beloved now father, husband, grandfather, and we are thrilled that he made it up today to share his courageous journey with you about that recovery process and how he continues this lifetime journey, because it truly is a journey that lasts a lifetime when you're dealing with a drug addiction. So I want to welcome you today, Jamil, to the program.
Thank you.
It's an honor to have you. So in today's program, we're going to be discussing that drug addiction, but also his, trials and errors of how that came to be. So, Jamil, it's my observation over the years that taking the time and the effort to really introspect and look at our own faults is one of the most challenging things that we can do as humans. I find that most people prefer to either blame someone else for their activities or justify, always finding justification of what they've done in the past, which really is not a healthy way, but that's the way that 99% of us kind of go throughout our daily lives. So in saying that, with your personal journey and that challenge to make a difference, in reading your book, it pretty much, although you had those thoughts of knowing for a long time that it wasn't that way that you wanted to live, when you were right into drug use and when you were running away from your own insecurities and feelings with guilt of leaving the kids and everything. You mentioned several times in the beginning that you would know that you didn't want that life, but knowing that and making the effort to start making a change is a whole different thing, right?
Sure.
So I may be wrong, but it was my understanding that you really came to a pivotal moment in the book when you were in prison, and the prison fight had just it wasn't over yet, right? Mm-hmm. So would you like to just tell me a little bit about, am I right? Was that kind of a pivotal moment where you actually started making a change, or?
It was a pivotal moment in one aspect of making a change. It was a pivotal moment in my realization that there was a power greater than me at work. All the other pivotal moments combined with that one made me started thinking in that area. Started thinking, this is not right. This is not where I'm supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And it kind of gave me a sense that all wasn't lost, you see, because I had accepted that maybe there was more to life, and so therefore, if I sought whatever that was, maybe that was my way out. All the doubts then, hit me full force that point, but I never lost, I never lost that feeling that, hey, there was the possibility, hope. If you lose all hope, it is really, I think, hard to even want to find your way back, you see.
Right.
So that was the spark. That was that little seed that started me to thinking I could be more.
And you talked about religious studies and really getting in the Word and learning that. And for my personal journey, I found that it's different. A lot of people can go around calling themselves one thing or another, but when you really, truly, you have to get in the Word to really understand it. You can call yourself a Christian, you can try and live a moral life or whatever, but there's something different about when you begin to get that appetite, I'll call it that, and that non-quenching thirst of wanting to know more. about God and about our lives, our purpose, what it is that we're supposed to be doing. And so many of us, I find that you're blessed and I'm blessed that you have that now because society, there's so much out there. There's so many influences and there's so many trains of thought and so many religions and the doubt thing, that's the tool, right, against us, the constant tool against us, no matter what our actions are. There's that constant doubt. Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Is this real? Is this, So I want to know a little bit more about, what you were feeling during that time of getting into the Word and because I know there was, we fall, we're human. It's a constant of falling, wiping yourself off, asking, for forgiveness, repentance, and then moving on. But for you, when you first got into that, can you tell me, was there somebody who mentored you? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. When I first, to begin with, I got it in my head to read the Bible from cover to cover.
Right.
And, no explaining. I can't explain why I wanted to do that, but it was important that I did. And so once I had accomplished that, then all the other stuff started coming up in my brain, like, was this real? Was this, what am I seeing
you need
here?
To know more.
Yeah, but because I related to a lot of the stuff, and this happened, 3,000 years ago, I said, I took my mom's advice. And she said, when we were growing up, she said, if you don't know, ask someone. And it just made perfect sense. So I asked someone. I asked the pastor. And he kept saying, just come back. And he was really good in the sense that he didn't try to answer everything all at once.
Right. It'd be too much, and plus you can't absorb it. And
yeah. And when he answered, as it related to me, he insisted that I went deeper. I couldn't. Did
he give you verses and things like that to study that related to it?
Yeah. He insisted that you thoroughly scour the Bible to figure out what some word or sentence or phrase meant. And then he would throw it back at me and say, to answer the question, he said, that's too vague. And I'd say, too vague? I thought I put a lot of consideration into it. Right. But he wouldn't let it lie there. And what he was teaching me was you have to go deep.
Yeah.
You can't
touch
just,
on the surface.
Yeah, that's not going to work if it's going to have any meaning.
Yeah. And then understanding, though, understanding what it means. So you would come back to him with what you thought it meant in relation to your life. Okay. Right. That's good. That's good that you had that. Now, that was in prison, though, right? There was a pastor that was there.
Yeah, there was a pastor. He was just getting set up, and it was this particular prison was out in the desert, in the Yuma Desert, and it's a level 3 or 4, and so he was coming over from Los Angeles to minister to the people there, and he was basically just getting set up. He was in his first year of setting it up.
Okay.
And so it was a challenge to him, and it was a challenge to us, which kind of made it,
a little more even ground, maybe.
Right, yeah.
Not that you felt he was so beyond your reach or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, in drug addiction, it's not just about a choice. There's also a lot other things going on as far as the brain goes and the activity of the brain. Those that don't understand, I think most, but not all, I find people have had someone in their family that has suffered from drug addiction. But it's not just drug addiction. Addiction in itself, there's a chemical imbalance going on in the brain. And when we come back from break, we're going to look at that scan. But just touching on that and dealing with that chemical imbalance in your own body and fighting that, can you touch note on that really briefly?
Yeah, to me, in my experience, it took me to extremes, highs and lows. And it was those highs and lows where I made bad decisions. You know, and that was because I was, you know, giving in to peer pressure.
Well, and the adolescent brain is much more susceptible to the influences of that. So, and when we look at that brain scan, we're going to talk about that. So we will be right back after the commercial. Thanks for tuning in.
Right here in the Tower District and all over the Central Valley, you'll see the Bobby Salazar signs everywhere. Let's bring in Bobby Salazar. Bobby!
Hey, how are you?
How's it going, man?
Good.
Real good to have you back on. Now, a new sponsor, The Buzz. I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I want to get right down to it. What'd you bring?
Well, this is our famous party tray. It's our variety tray, we call it, and it has just a little bit of everything. It has little taquitos and burritos and quesadillas and guacamole. And it's one of the most popular one that we sell. It's, you can call in. We can have them ready in like 20 minutes to 30 minutes. You know how busy we are, but, you know, spur of the moment, this is a great deal to get for any party, any occasion.
For the Super Bowl or any occasion, order a party tray from Bobby Salazar's.
Hi, Stan Gross of Horn Photo. Are you looking for a camera that takes better pictures than your phone? Why not give Horn Photo a shot? We can show you fantastic cameras from Nikon, Canon, Sony, and GoPro. Your time is valuable, so before you buy from Costco, Best Buy, or the internet, come see us. We've got great prices and deals, super knowledgeable staff, and we've been selling cameras in Fresno for 76 years. We're in the Villaggio at Blackstone and Nees, or go to hornphoto.com, Fresno's Camera Center.
Solar energy is now more affordable than ever. Hi, I'm Ty Simpson, sales manager of the new Bland Solar office here in Clovis. And right now at Bland Solar, we're offering a program with zero down payment. That's right, zero money out of your pocket. This new program is affordable and easy, with guaranteed production and no appraisals needed. In fact, your new system can be up and running in as little as 4 weeks. Bland Solar looks forward to serving the residents of the Central Valley. So call us today at 554-5657. Bland Solar, the Valley's expert in solar.
Hi, my name is Bonnie, and I'm a show producer here at CentralValleyTalk.com. We have a lot of great shows that you can share your business with our viewers. I'd love for you to give me a call. My number is 559-289-9687.
Are you losing weight drinking coffee? Find out how Javita can change your life, help you lose weight, stay healthy, all while making money doing it. Call now, 246-4895.
For all of your real estate needs, call Mike Briggs Properties, 559-486-6758, or check us out at MikeBriggsProperties.com.
Watch Tim Thiessen live Wednesdays at 3 p.m. right here on CentralValleyTalk.com and on digital channel 33.2. If you missed the live broadcast, we're on every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. on Comcast channel 200 and digital channel 43.5. You don't want to miss this.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to Courageous Journeys. I have author Jamil Couzens with me here today, and he's the author of Silly Pappa. And we're talking about, unfortunately, we don't have that image of the brain, but I just want to kind of tune you in on what are the differences of the activity that happens with a normal, healthy, non-addictive brain image. The parts of the brain that bring us joy, the dopamine that is fed to our brains in a healthy brain, you can see on an image of the brain the red. If you look at an image of a brain that is of an addictive person, they don't have that red when they are not using, when they're not on a high, when they're just without the drug source. It's a challenge to feed the brain with the dopamine that makes us naturally feel happy with things from, hugging your grandchildren or seeing something pretty. So that's a constant struggle for an individual who is a recovered addict of any kind. And addiction isn't just drug and alcohol. A lot of people don't realize that in families, addiction, if you see alcoholic tendencies, you also see in the same family sugar. Sugar is a huge addiction. And so you'll have obesity and you'll have people who need to get that sugar. They might not be an alcoholic, but alcohol turns into sugar too. So there's that connection. And I apologize for not having that scan, but we'll go beyond that. But Jamil, for you with the daily struggles, obviously the beginning, well, it's never, the struggle never ends, but in the beginning you really have to break the addiction and go through the withdrawals and everything. And then I assume, I don't remember how many times, you know, you went back after really making that decision, but there's lapses, right? So for you, how do you continue to, what do you find joy in that feeds you to continue?
You know, joy to me is like what you perceive. When I was younger, I perceived that my joy consisted of hanging out with the fellas and, you know, playing basketball and then drinking a beer and going from there. As you get older, you know, well, of course you slow down on the basketball and stuff, but the hanging out, it kind of wears off, you know, because then you get into personal relationships, you know, somebody else. And so it begins to change. Well, I didn't see any reason why I couldn't change it myself, and except that, you know what, hanging out with the kids or watching my grandkids, you know, take a close look at that. And I just laugh, I smile. They say or do things and just crack me up. So, and that's what I said, you know what, I'm getting a rush off of this. Let's just keep going with this. And then, of course, you know, with my wife and everything else, you know, it just adds to it. And so my focus having changed from, you know, the hanging out and the, you know, all of that to, you know, what was really, really meaningful to me. That's where it seems to, I get the dopamine rush, you know.
And you have the courage to continue because you have something really to live for. Now, I want our viewers to understand that you didn't always have your family in your life, because when you left and kind of abandoned the girls and that guilt and that drug use, you didn't want to really reconnect with them until you felt that you were a better man, right?
Right.
And that had to be, I can't even imagine, because I've only really been separated from one of my daughters due to her choice to wanting to go live with her dad during a point in her life, but that's got to be really hard. And that point when you decided to or when you were ready to reconnect is the time that you also connected with your wife, right?
Yeah.
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 And she was able to tell us how she was able to help you and what evolved when you guys met. Tell us about that.
Well, the whole weekend was kind of extraordinary in the sense that that Friday I had gotten a call from my youngest daughter, and I hadn't seen or heard her voice in, at that time, was 19 years. Consequently, that same day I had 7 years clean, and me and some friends of ours had planned to attend a convention in San Fernando. So when it happened, we ended up going to the convention, but I wasn't there. I was somewhere else because I had just talked to my daughter for the first time after 19 years. And I was walking around the convention, and I was kind of in a daze. And then I looked over, and there was this lady standing there, and I came to realize she had actually been there all the time. And so I apologized for having ignored her, and then I explained to her very briefly what I was going through, and she said, yeah, I know how that feels because I went through it myself. And well,
with her own father, right?
With her own father, and I just like two magnets, just wham! I just you know, to see what she could give me as far as helping me through understanding what was about to happen to me. So you know, it just clicked like that, and it helped. It went. I mean, I think in a sense, I kind of cheated.
You had inside information, huh?
Yeah, but it was so invaluable that, and it went exactly like she said. She said she's going to want to see you, and 2 days later she said, "Dad, when can you come visit?" And it was advice like that that was just,
Hey, Billy, can you bring up the picture of Jackie and Jamil, and then I want to show his daughters too. So here is your beautiful wife.
yeah, that's her.
And are you at a family function here?
Yes,
Or
as a
that-
matter of fact, that was the wedding,
Oh.
my youngest daughter's wedding. yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful. And which daughter is this
This
that we're
is
getting
the-
ready to see here?
This is the one who called me after the 19 years,
Okay, so the younger
the
one.
younger one.
Okay, and that's Kiki, right?
And that's Kiki.
And we found out today we both have Kikis as daughters.
Yes.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful. And now we're going to show an image of you and your grandson, one of your grandsons,
One-
right? There's a few of them.
There's 11 altogether.
11.
Yes, 11.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that. Okay,
Yeah.
it's been busy.
Yeah.
That's so much fun.
Yeah.
So wait, would you go back to that just a second? Sure. So that was when he was only 3 or something, right?
He was, in that picture, he was 2.
He's 2.
Yeah.
Now I saw a couple of pictures of in your book with horses and whatnot. So what's the connection with the horses? I'm just curious.
Well, that's my wife's side of the family who I love dearly. And her uncle and her aunt have a horse ranch.
Okay.
And we spend some of
That's
our
nice.
holidays there. So I had him with me at that time, and he wanted to go see the horses.
Of
And
course.
so-
I want to see the horses too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a question from the audience? Oh, okay. She just wants to see the horses too. We have my kids in the audience today, so. So Jackie was definitely, you had an inside source in understanding that, how your daughter was going to react to the situation. In building on that, you mentioned your elder daughter, that you introduced the two of them when you finally got together, and that she asked you straight out a question.
Yes.
Tell us what that was and the difficulty from moving from the answering of that question to bonding with her.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say, when I had started this journey, I came to the realization that I had to be honest. I had to be truthful, regardless as to, how painful that may be at times. And I had told both of them when we got back together after that almost 20 years of being apart, I said, I'll answer any questions you have for me, but, be warned, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to, and candid. So she asked me a question. She asked me, Dad, did you deny that I was your child when you first learned that my mom was pregnant with you? And I said, yes. And it wasn't the proudest moment of my life. It wasn't, something but it was the truth. I did. I panicked at that point, and I denied. And almost as surely as it came out, I
Wish you
regretted
could take it back, huh?
Sure, and I still to this day I regret that, but it happened, and so and we've dealt with that. She's a remarkable person now. She's actually a minister.
Is she really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
So
that's, congratulations.
yeah, she's really remarkable. So.
Is she a minister down in San Diego or Ohio?
No, she actually lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the other 3 grandsons, yes.
So in honesty, being honest with yourself and being honest, because you mentioned the whole honesty thing after you started on the whole road to recovery, of even when you were applying for jobs, I can tell you that that is a hard thing, and not from your side of the story, but from my side of the story with hiring an ex-con. It's a challenge for everybody.
Yeah.
And I want to hear about, I want to hear about the whole honesty thing and why it's important in every day, how you deal with that.
The main reason it's important, and it's you have to do it, is because you don't want things to come back on you.
Mm-hmm.
And
It always comes out, as they say.
It always comes out. So the best remedy for that is to let it be known.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I come from, and this is where I am today. And surprisingly enough, a lot of employers,
They respected that.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of you trying to hide it, because they're going to find out,
Yeah.
they're going to do a background check, they're going to find that out, and then now you've lied.
Yeah.
Right.
Because now, and to this day, I'm an aerospace machinist. I've actually worked on the space shuttle, the Delta rockets. I stood on the deck of a nuclear submarine and the aircraft carrier. And I've done other things that you would say, well, how is that possible? Well, oddly enough, as a machinist, your skill sets, it's what matters. Do you see? So they can give you work on a need-to-know basis, and so therefore it doesn't affect their security. And so they just need you to do your job.
Right, right. And we'll, I want to talk about that a little bit more, the whole education process and your work when we come back, because that I'm really proud. I'm happy for you and proud of you that you took that step also to continue your education, to be able to do that, right?
Yes.
Because you always enjoyed that. So we'll be right back after this commercial break.
I'm Mike Briggs, owner and CEO at CentralValleyTalk.com. If you like talk radio, you'll love CentralValleyTalk.com. All local, all live, all the time, CentralValleyTalk.com.
Have you seen a house for sale in the Tower District that you might like to own? It doesn't matter what realtor in town is selling it. If you like it, check it out at TowerDistrictProperties.com.
Are you losing weight drinking coffee? Find out how Javita can change your life, help you lose weight, stay healthy, all while making money doing it. Call now, 246-4895.
Hi, Priscilla Sanchez here. How would you like to be a guest on Chuck Leonard's Central Valley Buzz? Give me a call or text, 559-203-0619.
Hello, I'm Shelley at Horn Photo, and it's time to do more with your pictures. Get those images out of your camera, off your computer, and rescued from deep within your phone, and turn them into memorable photo keepsakes and gifts. Here at Horn Photo in Fresno, we have many wonderful photo items that we produce in-house, and we're here to help you find your individual style. So now's the time. Stop by Horn Photo in the Bellagio at Blackstone and East, or visit us online at hornphoto.com to explore the possibilities.
Ag is a vital part of the economy here in the Central Valley. Hi, I'm Ty Simpson, sales manager of the new Bland Solar office here in Clovis. And if you're in the ag industry, you've probably given thought to solar. Whether you run a dairy, orchard, farm, or ranch, at Bland Solar, we can custom design a system that's perfect for your business. The fact is that in this economy, replacing high-cost utility power with solar power is a great way to improve your bottom line. Bland Solar looks forward to serving the residents of the Central Valley. So call us today at 554-5657. Bland Solar, the Valley's expert in solar.
Hey, everybody, let's have some fun. Right. You only live once, and when you're dead, you're done. So let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Let the good times.
Watch Mike and Athena Fridays at 1 p.m. on CentralValleyTalk.com. For all of your real estate needs, call Mike Briggs Properties, 559-486-6758, or check us out at MikeBriggsProperties.com. Hi, I'm Mike Briggs from Mike Briggs Properties. We're in some very uncertain economic times. Many people have lost their homes. Many people face losing their homes now. Know your rights, know your options. Come talk to the experts right here at Mike Briggs Properties. By the way, we'll talk to you for free. We do not charge any fees at Mike Briggs Properties. Call us at 486-6758. Mike Briggs Properties, 486-6758.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Okay, well, we're back at Courageous Journeys, and I have with me Jamil Couzens, author of Silly Pappa. And we were just going into talking about, work and whatnot, but I want to go back just a little bit because you started your love of machine work and metal work back when you graduated from high school, right?
Actually, I was a freshman in high school.
When you were a freshman.
Yeah.
And during the break, we were talking about, unfortunately, that in today's majority of the school systems, they don't have those kind of programs available to kids. So, but on that note, with the adolescence, your love of that type of work, and then also your adolescent brain, which is so much more susceptible to having those changes with, chemical and whatnot. And then later in life, when you decided, your recovery process, and you decided that you wanted to not just do the basics, but you wanted to improve your skills and go back to school. With that, what kind of challenges did you experience with the whole education process?
Well, there was a real challenge in the beginning because financing it was one of the main things that had to occur, because I had gotten laid off after the attack on 9/11.
Oh, okay.
I was working at the FAA repair station on aircraft motors, and it shut down. So there was a period, about 10 months, where no one was hired. So I decided to go back to school, and then I found out, because of it wasn't so much as the whole ex-felony thing. It was the one in particular where I had was convicted for sales.
Okay.
And that was the one that the government said, no, you can't get any grant money or.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So an ex-con with a conviction related to drug sales is not eligible for grant
Correct.
money for school.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's
no good.
No, it really wasn't. And then the other odd part about it was that the Employment Development Department, they didn't want me to go back to school. Not in my trade. I said, well, the obvious thing for me to do is to go into engineering. I'm a
Right,
machinist already and a
right.
tool maker. And they said, no, they sent me flyers, I kid you not, for being a chef, for, seriously. And for all these other really oddball occupations, and I was trying to explain to them, I have an occupation. I want to enhance that occupation. And they resisted that. And to the point where they actually cut my check off.
Because you weren't doing what they wanted you to do.
Right, until I appealed it, and then they started it up, and I thought, my God, this doesn't make any sense. But having gone through that, the rest of the challenge, as far as being an older person going back to school and about around all the younger people, I had my fears of that.
Yeah.
But it was funny because the kids that were in the class, they started doing things like one kid, he did a image of me and made me into Mr. T with all the gold.
I can see that.
And he put it up on the computer screen, and it just like broke the ice. It was like, okay, and so I learned that because they were growing up in this other generation, that they were one up on the computer.
Oh,
savvy.
yeah. So you found some of them to help you.
Yeah. Oh,
good.
yeah.
Good.
So and it worked out great. I mean, they would come to me, and then they would come to me about their problems.
Yeah.
And I'd give them, advice as best as I could without going into detail.
Right.
But it worked. It was a trade-off. They'd come by and the little cars with the loud music and all of this. Hey, you ought to come hang out with us.
So as far as giving advice to somebody who is older, going back to school, because that alone is a challenge. Those fears, those insecurities for anybody who quit and then is trying to go back. But then also someone who's recovering, the type of programs that it took you a while to find that help. And you mentioned that a few times in the book, where a lot of the government, and I've seen this repeatedly throughout my life, is a lot of the programs that were put in place to help people have a recovered life are not made to really help you have a recovered life. But you found some like group homes and recovery homes where the people that you connected with did, right?
Right.
So what advice would you have for people in that realm?
My advice would be, don't give up looking. There are organizations and people out there who network amongst themselves that have legitimate and good information that will help you get to that next step. And it's not as difficult as it may seem. It's just you may have to do one or two extra steps than the normal person. And so it's worth it. If you really and truly are trying to better yourself, then take the extra steps, because you're going to find out that it then opens up for you. That's you get your foot in the door. Okay, on the other side of the door is what you were looking for. And sometimes getting your foot through the door is the only
Right. So
obstacle.
not to be discouraged with the way that you get beat up trying to find that door, but to keep looking until you find the right program
Yes.
or people, right, to
Yeah.
connect with.
Yes, you have to, and they are out there.
Yeah.
They're out there, and all you have to do is ask. You have to verbally request assistance, and as far as knowledge, and you find there are a lot of people out there that are willing to share, their experience and point you in a direction that's going to help you.
To help you. On that note, you mentioned in your book that you got involved. So I want to bring a little image of you and one of your grandsons there on the camera. That's the cover of the book, which is really cute. Sorry, ADD here. Oh, squirrel, pretty book. On getting involved in programs that were helpful for you. Are you still involved?
Yes.
So would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the ones that I am connected with and I work through, we can and my wife is really connected as far as going into institutions, halfway houses and speaking to the people there. It helps because if they're caught up in the system as they are in a halfway house, and they hear a note of hope.
Testament, someone else's testament.
Yeah, and that seems to resonate with them. So, and I like doing that. So that's one of the ways. And there's a lot of ways you can volunteer if you just go to some of your community organizations and some of the nonprofit organizations that are out there. And there's a list of them. They have it's a 211 now. I don't know if they
What's
have
the
it
211?
here. It's an information hotline, like a 911.
Down in San Diego, they have something called 211?
Yes,
Oh,
I think it's
I'm going to have to, I don't
211.
know about that.
Yeah, and they can call and they'll
Tell them about resources?
Yeah, the different resources
that's
that are
cool.
out there. And I thought, that's about time someone
Yeah,
came up with
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
because it actually works, And then you have, more than me, you see me sitting here right now, there are literally thousands of me that are out there trying to make a difference, trying to give back, because we've all gone through the same types of things. We've all lost loved ones through this process.
Well, and on the loved one note, a lot of times it means walking away from your loved ones during that recovery process because they may be suffering from the same thing that you are.
Yeah.
And that's always a challenge and painful, but in some senses creating a distance while you're working on being strong enough, right? Is a necessity. So it doesn't sound, it almost sounded the opposite way for you, but on the note of, we didn't talk about genetics and addiction, but did you have in the family makeup, were there others that, while during adolescence, your mom was a great role model for you, it sounded like, and she worked, really hard to provide for everybody. But I was confused, did Dad abandon you, or what happened? Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Okay.
he left when I was 6 months old.
Okay.
And
so that was
my
a
brother and
repeated-
sister were a year older than me. But oddly enough, that was the one thing that I did not want to do and ended up doing,
Right.
and ended up having to. Well, it made it really, really important for me to, make the effort to correct it, and so that's why part of the driving reason I did what I did.
So, but in the family makeup, did you have the challenge of when you reconnected that there were still members that are still struggling with that? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
there
it's
were.
a constant.
Yeah, it's a constant, and you have a tendency to fault yourself because you were out there, and you kind of think, well, they took their lead from me, and so there's this guilt that's attached to that. And you have to realize that, we all make our own choices and our own decisions. And so by me choosing to do what I do now, I I don't hammer them with that. I just continue to do what I do and try to be an example.
Right.
You
And
know.
that's the best thing I think that you can do.
That's all you can do,
Yeah.
actually.
Because you can try and share whatever wisdom you have and whatever advice, but the individual has to make that choice on their own.
Yeah.
And just really quickly before you cut, in my own life, that's what your dad did. But so often we swear as kids we're never going to do what our parents did. And then, unfortunately, quite often we fall into doing exactly what our parents did.
Yes.
And you can see in siblings, you can see one that chooses to go with the norm, what was acceptable, deemed acceptable within that family, even if it has to do with illegal activities or drug activities, whereas the other one decides to go the other route and do what they know internally is the right thing to do. And that's not always easy, but that's all, what we can do. So I'm enjoying our time together. And when we come back, we are going to have your beautiful wife, Jackie, join us. So
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back.
Right here in the Tower District and all over the Central Valley, you'll see the Bobby Salazar signs everywhere. Let's bring in Bobby Salazar. Bobby!
Hey, how are you?
How's it going, man?
Good.
Real good to have you back on. Now, a new sponsor of The Buzz. I want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I want to get right down to it. What'd you bring?
Well, this is our famous party tray. It's our variety tray, we call it, and it has just a little bit of everything. It has little taquitos and burritos and quesadillas and guacamole. And it's one of the most popular one that we sell. You can call in. We can have them ready in like 20 minutes to 30 minutes. You know how busy we are, but, spur of the moment, this is a great deal to get for any party, any occasion.
For the Super Bowl or any occasion, order a party tray from Bobby Salazar's.
Hi, Stan Gross of Horn Photo. Are you looking for a camera that takes better pictures than your phone? Why not give Horn Photo a shot? We can show you fantastic cameras from Nikon, Canon, Sony, and GoPro. Your time is valuable, so before you buy from Costco, Best Buy, or the internet, come see us. We've got great prices and deals, super knowledgeable staff, and we've been selling cameras in Fresno for 76 years. We're in the Villaggio at Blackstone and Nees, or go to hornphoto.com, Fresno's Camera Center.
Solar energy is now more affordable than ever. Hi, I'm Ty Simpson, sales manager of the new Bland Solar office here in Clovis. And right now at Bland Solar, we're offering a program with zero down payment. That's right, zero money out of your pocket. This new program is affordable and easy, with guaranteed production and no appraisals needed. In fact, your new system can be up and running in as little as 4 weeks. Bland Solar looks forward to serving the residents of the Central Valley. So call us today at 554-5657. Bland Solar, the Valley's expert in solar.
Hi, my name is Bonnie, and I'm a show producer here at CentralValleyTalk.com. We have a lot of great shows that you can share your business with our viewers. I'd love for you to give me a call. My number's 559-289-9687.
Are you losing weight drinking coffee? Find out how Javita can change your life, help you lose weight, stay healthy, all while making money doing it. Call now, 246-4895.
For all of your real estate needs, call Mike Briggs Properties, 559-486-6758, or check us out at MikeBriggsProperties.com.
Watch Tim Thiessen live Wednesdays at 3 p.m. right here on CentralValleyTalk.com and on digital channel 33.2. If you missed the live broadcast, we're on every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. on Comcast channel 200 and digital channel 43.5. You don't want to miss this.
CentralValleyTalk.com. Welcome back to Courageous Journeys, and welcome, Jackie. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you.
I'm
nice to be here.
I'm really thrilled to have you both have made the journey to come up with us. So, let's talk about the night you met. Okay. Tell me a little bit about. You saw this handsome guy standing there in his own little world, right? And then he finally stops and realizes you're there and says hello.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. He had a lot on his mind, and so we started talking, and he mentioned to me about talking to his daughter. So I got really quiet, and so I asked him, what was going on, and he had mentioned to me he hasn't talked to his daughter in 20 years.
Yeah, about 20 years.
So I started to tear up, and and I thought, wow, it's like not,
Deja vu, huh, for you, but on the other.
Yeah, meeting, talking to my dad for the very first time, and I met my dad, talked to my dad, and how I felt, and I had told him what she was feeling and what she wanted and what was going to happen, and I was really happy for him. And what I had told him was, that she just wanted her dad, and what to expect in that relationship. And I was really happy for him because I had lost my dad in the disease of addiction.
After you reconnected?
Yeah. Yeah, and he's been clean a while. He's been doing life, and he had his life together, and he can build a relationship with her that I couldn't with my dad, and that he was going to be blessed, and he had no idea, and that she was going to be blessed, that I couldn't be blessed in that aspect.
So you felt good about being part of that.
Yeah.
And then the two of you just became immediately connected, right? Lots of phone calls. And
So that, that whole weekend he was in another space. And so I was just talking to him. And so we enjoyed ourselves. And we got to called him a lot and asked him how he was doing. And he made the trip out to see his daughter. And he told me everything you said was exactly the way it is. And, eventually we started dating. And then I got to meet her. And I'm her second mom, and so
that's wonderful.
He's blessed.
Yeah, he is blessed. And he's blessed not to have only had that connection, but to have you.
Yeah.
And for you, having experienced the disconnect between your dad and then reconnecting and then losing him again, and your own personal journey, you mentioned you testifying. Now, did you deal with a recovery situation for yourself as well, or just through family?
Myself.
Okay. Yeah. And now sometimes when couples get together that are both recovering, that gives additional challenges. Did you have challenges, or are you always able to be supportive in that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's harder when both parties have past addictions.
No, I think for us, we know exactly.
You're strong.
We're strong for one another.
That's
that
good.
we know exactly what's going on with us.
Yeah.
We support one another. We've been through a lot. And
the communication. It sounded like you were at a point where you were really opening up, and in any relationship, communication is the key, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's not always easy, but if that's not happening and that honesty about what's going on with ourselves is not happening, then the communication is not real. Yeah.
Right.
So so today, 11 years plus, right? Marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the struggle continues as far as family and trying to be that role model. That you both are.
Right.
That you both are. So, Jackie, do you have any words of wisdom or advice or anything that you'd like to tell the viewers out there?
Well, recovery is a one day at a time process. At the beginning, it was a struggle. It wasn't easy to get clean at the beginning. It was hard. But the blessing is that, that when I was ready to stop using and get my life together, and it was I hit my bottom.
And for most of us, that has to happen, right? Unfortunately,
it has to happen. Yeah. And then I had to get honest about where I was at, and what I wanted to do in my life. What I was seeking, and I had to heal from the disease. I had to heal from the disease, and then I met Jamil, and I was, when I met him and started a relationship, I was honest about who I was, and where I came from, and he told me about who he was and where he came from, and there's nothing I can't tell him.
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah. And that is really good for both of you, because for me, my husband came from such a completely different world in every aspect you can think of: culture, family makeup, not really understanding the whole addiction thing at all. And whereas I came from completely other side of the tracks, so to speak, right? And then being a California native. And there was a lot until recently that unless someone understands that, it's really hard to share. So I'm happy for the two of you that you have that, because you do. It's like some things don't need to be explained because you already know.
Right.
You already know, right?
Right.
I'm thrilled that you're doing what you're doing, and as far as the kind of things that, you know, you're giving your testimony, you can't give a testimony until you've had a test.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
And that can go in every spectrum, as far as dealing with illness, dealing with drug addiction, or anything like that. And then that's why I started this show, really, is to allow a platform for people to be able to give their testimony, you know, and inspire others. Because when you're down at that point in your life where you're hitting rock bottom and you think there's no hope, that's a hard place to be. And so hopefully, you know, those ears and eyes are being touched of somebody who is not only necessarily experiencing that for themselves, but who may have a family member, that there is hope to recover, and you can make a change. It's not easy, but focusing on the positive things that are in your life. And for even people who don't have addictions, you meet so many people and they want to just always talk about the negative and, you know, and I'm looking at them going, do you count your blessings? Because there's a lot of them in your life, you know. Yeah, so what do we have on the screen there? Let's see. So you can contact me at info@Living Green Design Solutions, or you can join me on our Facebook page, which is Courageous Journeys with Thule. And we also have our programming on YouTube archived for all past shows. But Jamil's book right here, which, let's bring that image up real quick, Silly Pappa. I noticed there's several places that they can purchase that. That can be purchased at Amazon.com. And then, now, really quickly on that, did you self-publish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So in writing a book right now, and me trying to go through my whole writing process, there have been a lot of authors on the program, and some do go the route of self-publishing, and some go the route of finding a publisher. Who helped you do editing? Did you have family that helped, or?
I had friends, and these friends in recovery, and they've written themselves. So they helped me by, I would send them a chapter, and they would go through it and, make some suggestions, and I would take the suggestions and run with it. So.
Did you find that? Because I know for most people that when you have a really painful past or whatever, that when you start writing, even things that you think you've dealt with, even that you think you've dealt with them, you start putting it on paper, and then you have to read it, and then someone else is reading it. That's really, it's a wonderful process, because it's, I would say, even better than therapy in some cases, because it's very cathartic, it's cleansing, right? Did you feel that too, and struggle with that?
Well, sure, because what you see here is, probably half because I threw the other stuff out. Once I went through it, I was like, yes, this is true, but this does not pertain to where I'm going with this. So therefore, I have to. I threw a lot of information stuff out, but and to winnow it down to that. But it's a process, and it's a really good process, because you will be forced to. Deal with
the past. Very good. Well, I'm pleased you had a chance to come on today. And once again, if you're interested in reading Jamil's book, you can find that on Amazon.com, or just Google Jamil Couzens, spelled with Couzens, ENS, and then Silly Pappa, and you'll find a bunch of resources to buy that.
Yes.
So thanks for tuning in, and thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.
I'm honored to meet you both.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you for having
And good
us.
luck on your journey. Thanks for
you.
tuning in. We'll see you next time on Courageous Journeys.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm Mike Briggs, owner and CEO at CentralValleyTalk.com. If you like talk radio, you'll love CentralValleyTalk.com. All local, all live, all the time, CentralValleyTalk.com.
Have you seen a house for sale in the Tower District that you might like to own? It doesn't matter what realtor in town is selling it. If you like it, check it out at TowerDistrictProperties.com.
Are you losing weight drinking coffee? Find out how Javita can change your life, help you lose weight, stay healthy, all while making money doing it. Call now, 246-4895.
Hi, Priscilla Sanchez here. How would you like to be a guest on Chuck Leonard's Central Valley Buzz? Give me a call or text 559-203-0619.
Hello, I'm Shelley at Horn Photo, and it's time to do more with your pictures. Get those images out of your camera, off your computer, and rescued from deep within your phone, and turn them into memorable photo keepsakes and gifts. Here at Horn Photo in Fresno, we have many wonderful photo items that we produce in-house, and we're here to help you find your individual style. So now's the time. Stop by Horn Photo in the Bellagio at Blackstone and East, or visit us online at hornphoto.com to explore the possibilities.
Ag is a vital part of the economy here in the Central Valley.
CentralValleyTalk.com